Greywood Hospital stood isolated on the edge of Yorkshire, surrounded by fog-choked moors and memories no one wanted to revisit. Built in the late 1800s, the hospital was once a proud institution, until a string of mysterious deaths in 1959 cast a shadow that would never leave.
Nurse Evelyn Harker was a striking woman, tall, pale, with piercing green eyes that seemed to look straight into your soul. Patients said her presence was calming, but those who survived to stay in Ward C often spoke of shadows that moved when she passed, and dreams filled with blood.
That year, a record number of patients died under mysterious circumstances. Cardiac arrests in seemingly healthy individuals, unexplained hemorrhages, and cases of respiratory failure without cause. The hospital attributed it to coincidence and poor record keeping, but young intern Thomas Greaves wasn't convinced. Thomas had just begun his medical career and was assigned to Ward C, where Evelyn worked most nights. He noticed that patients assigned to her care often declined rapidly, even if they had shown signs of recovery. And always, she was there, whispering lullabies and humming old hymns that echoed through the empty halls long after her shift ended.
One night, he stayed late to monitor Mr. James Holloway, a retired sailor recovering from minor surgery. Holloway had been stable for days, but just after midnight, Thomas heard the unmistakable hum of Evelyn's voice, and then the monitor flatlined. When he burst into the room, Evelyn was already there, a faint smile on her lips. She claimed Holloway had simply gone peacefully in his sleep. Thomas couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong.
Driven by suspicion, Thomas began reviewing patient charts. Files were missing. Death certificates had vague causes: cardiac event, respiratory failure, or simply natural causes. But when he cross-referenced the hospital logs with staff schedules, a chilling pattern emerged. Evelyn had been on duty for every death in Ward C that year. He confided in Nurse Margaret, an older woman who had worked at Greywood for decades. Her hands trembled as she clutched her teacup. "We don't speak of Evelyn," she whispered. "She's been here longer than anyone. Some say she never left. Some say she was never hired in the first place."
That night, Thomas broke into the records room. Dust filled the air and cobwebs lined the cabinets. He found a file labeled Harker, E, Employment Record, but the contents made no sense. The form was dated 1919. If that were true, Evelyn would be over 60, but she looked no older than 30. Photos from decades past showed her in the same pristine uniform, never aging. In one grainy photo from 1925, she stood in a group of nurses, but all others were long dead. Evelyn's smile was unchanged. The next morning, the file was gone, burned. Determined to uncover the truth, Thomas visited the hospital morgue. The mortician, a gruff man named Keene, agreed to show him Holloway's body. "Don't usually allow this," Keene said, "but something's been wrong lately. Been finding strange marks, punctures." When they examined Holloway, Thomas saw two tiny incisions at the base of the neck, almost surgical. Could be injections, Keen muttered, but we never administered anything through that route. Other bodies showed the same, always at the base of the skull, always hidden beneath the collar or hairline.
That night, Thomas heard footsteps outside his flat. He opened the door to find a single note on the floor. Some truths are better left buried.
Terrified, he turned to Nurse Margaret. She finally revealed what the senior staff feared, that Evelyn was not human. She came during the war, Margaret said. When the bombing started, we needed nurses. She arrived with no papers, just a suitcase and a smile. Patients started dying quietly, painlessly. At first, we were grateful, but it didn't stop. One by one, Margaret said, the old doctors left or died. Now we pretend not to see.
Margaret mentioned a wing of the hospital that had been sealed off since 1942, the old surgical theater. Rumors said Evelyn spent time there after hours. Thomas broke in one stormy night, flashlight in hand. The smell of mildew and decay filled the air. Instruments lay untouched, as if frozen in time. On the far wall, a black and white portrait of nurses lined the corridor. Evelyn was in the center. Behind a rusted door, he found a locked cabinet. Inside were vials, old, cloudy, unmarked, and journals, pages filled with meticulous notes, subjects unfit, transition failed, injection ineffective, seeking purity. It was an experiment. She was testing something on the dying, on the living, on anyone she could touch without raising suspicion. Suddenly, the door slammed shut. A whisper behind him, "Evelyn." "Curiosity is dangerous, doctor," she said. Her eyes were glowing. "But you're special. I can make it painless." He ran. Thomas made plans to leave Greywood and go public, but that same night, a fire broke out in the records room. The entire West Wing burned. No casualties, except Margaret. They found her charred body near the Forbidden Wing. Her throat was slit before the fire reached her. Desperate, Thomas confronted the hospital director, but the old man simply said, "We all serve in our way, some more willingly than others." That night, Evelyn found Thomas packing his bags. "They'll never believe you," she said gently, "but you can stay, be part of something greater." He refused. She moved closer. "Then I'll have to erase you, like the others." He lunged, injecting her with one of the vials from her own lab. She screamed, twisting, her face shifting, aging rapidly, melting into a grotesque mask. And then, silence. When authorities arrived, there was no Evelyn, no body, just ashes. Thomas was blamed for the fire, declared unstable, and institutionalized. To this day, Greywood Hospital still stands, empty. But at night, some say you can hear humming in the halls, and sometimes the lights in Ward C turn on by themselves. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and follow other horror stories.